about finding the equation of the line of best fit and using it to predict outcomes. You have your notes paper in front of you, and we are talking about boat sales at Dustin's Marina is given by this table. We have our weeks as our X values, and we have the boat sales as our Y values. So number 1 says we're going to construct a scatter plot. Scatter plot meaning we are not connecting the dots. We are not connecting the dots using the data. Then draw and assess a line that seems to best represent the data. Okay, so over here on our graph, we have our x-axis, which is going to be the weeks, and we have our y-axis, which is going to be the boat sale. Notice the scale that the boat sale is counting by. It is not just simply the numbers in the table. We are not taking the numbers from the table and writing it as our scale. We are evenly spacing and counting by the same amount each time. You can count by ones, or you can count by, in this case, by twos. You could count by fives, tens, just depending on your data. But we are not simply taking the numbers from the table and writing them as our scale. We are counting, in this case, by twos up to 18 because 18 is our highest value. Then we are going to take each coordinate point. So this first one is the coordinate point 1, 2. So I'm going to find 1 on my x-axis, and I'm going to find 2 on my y-axis and put a dot. Moving to the next one, 2, 3. I have to estimate where 2, 3 is because my scale factor is not counting by ones. So the 3 is just kind of in between 2 and 4. So I am estimating my point 2, 3. My next point is 3, 5. Again, estimating that 5 is somewhere in between 6 and 4. 4, 8, 4, 8. Then I have 5, 6, 6, 10, 7, 8, and 8, 18. Now that I have my scatter plot, I can see that those data points are moving in a positive trend. So my line should go in a positive trend direction. I should not have a line that is going in the opposite direction of my data points. I should mirror what the data is doing. So if the points are going in a positive direction, the line is going to go in a positive direction. When we are finding a line that best seems to represent the data, we want the line to go right in the middle of the data. Not above it, not below it, but right in the middle. It can go through as many points as possible, but it does not have to. What you want is the data points to be as close to the line as possible. So you are going to work on making sure that that line is as close to the data points as it can be. And you want the same number of points above the line as you do below the line. So in this case, what they have drawn, we have 1, 2, 3 points above the line. We have 1, 2, 3 points below the line. And the line is going through 2 points. So now I have a line that best seems to represent the data. Okay? I'm going to add in here, write the equation, because that's something that we have been working on, is writing the equation of the line. So we are going to write the equation in y equals mx plus b. At this point, we are not looking at the dots anymore. We are looking at the line. When we want to write the equation of the line, I am only looking at the line, not the dots. Okay, so in order to find the slope, I need to find 2 points that are on the crosshairs, or I'm going to use 2 points and find the slope using the slope formula. I'm going to use this point right here. And let's find another one that's right on the crosshairs. And sometimes you'll find one, and sometimes you won't. In this case, we don't quite find another point. However, I do know what this point is. So even though it's not on the crosshairs, because it's in the table, I'm going to go ahead and use it. Okay, so I'm going to use this point right here, which is my 2, 3. And I'm going to use this point right here, which is 8, 18, I'm sorry, 8, 14. That's 8, 14. And I'm going to find the slope between those 2 points. Now, you can do rise over run, but you need to remember that this is a 1 right here. So it's counting by 2's, and then you have an extra 1. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, but this 1 makes this up 11, and this is over 2, 4, 6. No, sorry, this is counting by 1's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So your slope is 11 over 6. Okay? Or you could do the slope formula by subtracting 14 minus 3 and 8 minus 2, and you still get 11 over 6. So our slope is 11 over 6. My y-intercept, in this case, we're not going to be able to find the exact y-intercept, but I'm going to estimate that to be a 1. Okay? We're going to estimate that to be a negative 1, even though it goes off the graph because it's going to be kind of right there if this line keeps going. We're going to estimate that to be a negative 1. So there's my equation. So we plotted the points. We estimated a line that we think is a good line of best fit, and then we wrote the equation of that line by finding the slope and finding the y-intercept. Part 2 says, use the line of best fit to make a conjecture, which is just a prediction, about the boat sales at week 9. At week 9, what do we think is going to happen? So I'm going to use the line. There's not a point at week 9. I do not have anything in my table right here for week 9. So I have to use the line to make a prediction or a conjecture. Okay, so I'm going to go to the 9 weeks and see where does 9 weeks cross the line, and it's about 16. So my boat prediction is that at 9 weeks, we're going to sell about 16 boats. That is the prediction based on this line. All right, let's do one more example. Here we have another table. We're talking about the number of members that join an outdoor club based on the number of days. So days is our x-axis, new members is our y-axis, and we're first going to plot our points because we want to construct a scatter plot. So I'm going to draw the points 1, 3, 2, 6, and I've already done this on your paper, 3, 4, 4, 3, 5, 6, and 6, 4. Okay, so now looking at this, we're going to make a prediction for a line of best fit. All right, so we're looking for a line somewhere in between there. We're not going to go straight up and down. It's not going negative. It's kind of going positive, but there's not a whole lot of correlation going on here. But I'm going to predict that a line is going to go somewhere like this. I have 2 points above the line, I have 2 points below the line, and I have 2 points on the line. So that seems to be a pretty decent prediction. Now again, let's write the equation of that line. And so I'm going to find my y-intercept. In this case, it is 1. My y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So based on my prediction line, the y-intercept is 1. Now I need to find my slope, and I can use the 2 points that are on the line because they're exact points. Or I could use 2 points somewhere else. I'm going to go up 2 and over 2. Okay, so 2 over 2 is the same thing as 1, so that's your rise over run, which is the same thing as 1. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. I could just as easily have gone up 1 over 1. So 1 is my slope. Okay, so now my equation is y equals 1x plus 1. So we've answered part A. Now we need to go to part B. Using a line, make a prediction for the number of members to join on the 8th week. So I'm going to look on my 8 days. For 8 days, I'm going to move over to days, and I'm going to go up to find my line, and it looks like it's going to be about 9 members. So 9 new members. Okay, last one. We have a table. We're talking about the values of Heather's portfolio in thousands of dollars by the end of the year. So we have our X values as years, and our values in thousands of dollars is our Y value. So you can see here's our scale on our table here, graph. We're going to go 190, 270, 3 is 80, 4 is 60, 5 is 80, and 6 is 60. Okay, so this data looks kind of like it's going in a negative direction. It's going downhill. So I'm going to make a trend line that kind of goes negative. Now, if I do something like this, I might have 3 points below and 1 point above. We don't want to do that. So because there is an 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points, it might not be exactly even, but you want to try and get it as even as possible. So it looks to me like we might have 3 points on the line, and then we have 1 above and 1 below. Okay, because I got more points on that line, that's probably a pretty good line. So now we're going to write the equation y equals mx plus b. I'm going to look at where that line might be crossing the y-axis, and this is kind of an estimate. It doesn't have to be exact, but it looks like it's probably crossing right around 100. And remember, that's 100,000. Plus, our slope is down 1 over 2. And again, I did use 2 points, but it's just because they were on the line. I should still be able to go down 1 and over 2, down 1 and over 2. So the line might not be quite straight, but it looks like the slope might be negative 1/2. And then I bring down my x and my y. Okay, and then it says make a conjecture about what the profit is for the portfolio after 8 years, and this prediction would be about $50,000 at the end of 8 years. So the process: plot your points, find a line that matches the data trend, and write your equation.